Hello everyone, this is cybereagle2001 and today our topic is SQL injection. So first of all, what is SQL injection? SQL injection is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interfere with queries that an application makes to its own databases. It generally allows an attacker to view data that they are not normally able to retrieve. This might include data belonging to other users or even data that the application itself is able to access. In many cases, an attacker can modify or delete this data, causing persistent change to the application content or behavior. And in some cases, we can privilege escalate from an SQL injection in order to have higher privileges and execute a denial of service attack. So let's start by the first lab. So we have in here this shopping website. It's vulnerable, it's made for this process. So what we are going to do actually is that we are going to exploit a SQL injection vulnerability in order to dump some hidden items. To do that, we can see here that in our URL we have interrogation point category equal gifts. If we are going to change the filter, so the category is going to change. What we want to have in here is we want to have all the categories and all the items released or not. This is why I'm using in here Portswigger burp suit. So what we have in here is actually the request made by the server to the from the browser to the server, So what I made is I added after the gifts apostrophe double dash. Apostrophe to close the string and double dash is going to eliminate the release equal 1 in the query request. So what we are going to do in there is going to try to eliminate the release equal 1 in order to have all the items released or not. But actually, even using this payload, I didn't get a lot of things. This is why I changed my payload into gifts apostrophe plus or plus 1 equal 1 dash dash. So what does this mean? The dash dash, as I said before, is to eliminate the and release equal 1 so that we can see non-released items. But also for the 1 equal 1 is always true. So the website, the server is going to try to understand this query, which is gifts or true. So it's actually going to dump all the categories with released and not released items. And we can see in here that our attack was so successful and we got all the items we want. So for the second lab, we are going to try to get an administrator access using the vulnerability we've already found in the filter category. So what we are going to do first is that we are going to try to understand how many columns we have in our table using a union attack. To do that, we are going to use the payload union plus select plus null, 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 and dash dash. So the dash dash is going to eliminate the released option, and for the null, we are going to try to see how many columns we have. If we got an internal server error, such as what we have in here, that means that the number of columns is wrong. This is why we are going to eliminate one null and we will get nothing, so the number of columns is right. Now, the second part of the attack is that we are going to try to identify actually which columns support the string format that we are going to use in order to do our SQL injection. To do that, we are going to change the null with a string character, which is anything like an alphabet. And if we have no error, that means that it supports this kind of format, and we can see that we added A to our display. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to try to dump the credentials from another table, which is the user's table. In our case, it's a lab environment, so we already know the table name and the column names, but in real life scenarios, we need to try and guess them or use another method to find the name of the tables and the columns. So our payload will be union plus select username password from users table. So I made the simple error here, so I used the user as a name of a table, not users, so I got an internal error. So I just added an S and everything is okay. We can see in here that we already got our usernames and passwords like winner, Carlos, and also the administrator passwords. This is why we are going to use these credentials in order to have an access to our account, and everything will be alright.